Hello, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. Oop, I didn't do that right. There we go. That's a little bit better. Kakashi, how's it going? So, apologies for being late. I just got caught up doing some stuff myself, looking at things, watching some stuff, just like, oh shit. Time just kind of flew by, so instead of trying to fire up G Generation Genesis and continuing the story there, I figured we'd do something a little bit different today. Just a tad different. Something I kind of mentioned I wanted to do, and that was just do a few tier lists. This might not be a very long stream, depending on how in-depth I go with these. But as it stands right now, I have I have 5 tier lists. So I'm just gonna kind of go through. All of them are Gundam. It's all specific suits and stuff that show up in specific series. Why? Because, well, we might not be doing G Generation Genesis, but it's still gonna be Gundam related today. So, from the lists I have, that I'm just gonna kind of go through. I'm gonna be ranking the mobile suits that appeared in the original Mobile Suit Gundam, in Zeta Gundam, Gundam Wing, Gundam Seed, and Gundam 00. Why those series in particular? Well, those are all series I have watched. And all series you've seen me play through in the G Generation games. So at least some of my older viewers are at least aware of at least these series' existence. We also did finish off watching Season 2 of Gundam 00 in the Discord last night. So pretty soon we're going to be moving on to the movie to finish 00 off entirely, and then we'll go on to something else. Yeah, so again, apologies for the late-ass start. Like, I am nearly 2 hours late. That's my bad. But that's okay. We can have a little bit of fun, a little bit shorter, a little more chill and mellow stream. Just me ranking Gundams and mobile suits and whatever else they decide to throw onto this list. I wanted to add in one for Iron-Blooded Orphans, but the one I could find was either just headshots of all the mobile suits, or they were in such a slapdash order and missing a few that I just couldn't figure it out. It's like, fuck it. I'll probably make my own IBO list on here. I tried to get as many as I could that weren't having literally the whole mobile suit's head cut off. I mean, there's a few cut off here, but yeah, the original Gundam has it bad. The rest of them are actually fine for the most part. There's a few where body parts are getting cut off, but it's not nearly as bad as this. Like, I can't even see the top of I can't even see the Zaku's heads. They're just non-existent. But whatever, and I gotta I'm guessing on what one specific suit on 0079 here is, the OG Gundam is. I'm assuming what one is to try and differentiate the two, even though they're like the exact same fucking thing. But whatever, it is what it is. So yeah, you're just gonna kind of watch me talk about what I think is a good design and what I don't think is a great design and all that fun-ish jazz. Feel free to chime in if you happen to disagree. Just based off of the design alone. I mean, yeah, you more than likely might not know anything about them, but who knows, you could. So, actually, I'm gonna rearrange these guys real quick. Yeah, I'm gonna move a few around there. That's, I think, a little bit better, possibly, for what I want to do. Alright, here we go. So yeah, starting off in good old Mobile Suit Gundam, the original. Our first suit up on the list is the Zaku 1. This is like the original mobile suit in the Universal Century timeline, more or less. Very simplish design. Yeah, it's got kind of gives you a sort of a almost gladiator-esque look with like a enlarged shoulder and like pleated skirt look. I mean, even the regular Zaku's and even kind of the goof over here kind of have the exact same thing going on. But he's also very round, not nearly as detailed, and in the context of at least the show, it only showed up for a single episode and fought completely unarmed. And got itself wrecked by, well, the superior Gundam. Hi, Ruby. So, but I do like it how it's, this old school machine. So, because it's kind of the progenitor of just mobile suits in general for this, I'm gonna give it a B. I'm gonna throw the Zaku 1 into B tier. Just middle of the road. That's all. Middle of the road. Next, we have the Zaku 2. This is the one we see the most. And it's probably one of the more famous, Zeon mobile suits. Because, well, yeah, it's what you see the most in general. Zaku 2. This is the thing that's wiping out just people easily. Until, more mobile suits are made. It's very much just the Zaku 1 again, but they added a little more detail on it. Its big rounded shoulder now has spikes on it. It has a big rectangle-like shield sitting on the other shoulder. It's got piping everywhere, over across its face and around its waist and even on its legs. It's a little bigger, a bit bulkier, a lot tougher than just a standard Zaku 1. This guy is more in line for combat. But if I'm being perfectly honest, it's still kind of a B-tier suit. It's just middle of the road. And then we have Char's Zaku 2. What's the difference between Char's and a regular Zaku 2? Appearance-wise, it's red. It has a horn. That's it. That's all it is. But it looks better. The horn and even the red color is a bit better than the drab olive green of the regular Zaku 2. But I still don't like it as much as I like the Zaku 1. So, again, another B tier, middle of the road. Hey, Yusuke. I'm doing pretty good. How are you? Thinking of getting your first Gundam? Cool, cool. What one? Alright, next up we have the Gun Tank. This thing is an abomination that should not exist. I hate this thing. I hate the Gun Tank. I'm not kidding. I don't like this thing at all. You got tank treads, and then you wanted to put an upper body to it with giant-ass cannons, but it can't turn its waist, so it's like, has to move literally like a tank. Actually, it's worse than a tank, because it can only move, it can move forward and back, it can just kind of pivot to move around. It can't turn its upper body while still going forward. This thing is literally tank controls. At least on a real tank, your main gun can turn and swivel while you move. This thing, no. The best it can do is raise its arms, and maybe it can hit something if it's moving them side to side. But I hate, this thing is like awful. This thing is absolutely awful. I hate it. The real grade 00 Quanta? Okay. Jumping right into a real grade. Nice, nice. actually, I'm gonna throw you over here. Now we've got the gun cannon. This is a nice little middle step between the gun tank and the Gundam itself. It's fully humanoid this time, so it actually has more movement. It could turn its damn waist if it really wanted to. It still has the shoulder cannons, but they're not nearly as long and unwieldy. And, well, it has a rifle. So it's actually got, you know, something. A little better than just, my arms are guns. I can't hold anything. The gun cannon can hold something. And its face, while rounded, it has little antenna at the back, like kind of, like, not at the back, I think at the sides. I think at the sides of its head, it's got little antenna. And it's got like a visored head. It doesn't have specific eyes, it's like a visor. I actually like the gun cannon a bit more. A lot more than I like the gun tank. Like, that thing can go to hell. So, I'm gonna put that in A, because... honestly, why can't the gun cannon be the main suit? Just give it some beam sabers, and you've got long, medium, and close range covered. Found a comic book place in my country, so shipping won't be hell. Oh, nice, nice. Very nice. Alright, now the star of the show, the Gundam itself. Taking this purely in a vacuum from in 0079, the Gundam itself is an S tier. Out of all these here, this guy is an S tier because its design it's classic, it's slick, it's well proportioned, the colors, you know, catch it, and this is just the de facto super mobile suit, essentially. I mean, it's not a super robot, it's a real robot, but you know what I mean. Like, you look at this thing, and it's like, damn. It does have more Gundams, so if I find Kyrios, I'll get that. Okay. Kyrios has at least 2 different grades of kit that it's released in. High grade and master grade. The master grade came out fairly recently, while the high grade came out when the show was premiering, so that one might be a little harder to find. But the master grade will cost a lot more. That's the downside, because it's bigger. It has a little more stuff going on. Yeah, so out of these, just the Gundam itself is just straight up S. Straight up S. I don't know how to build them, though. The instructions are all in there. It's actually fairly simple to do, really. You just cut the pieces off of the big plastic runners and then follow the steps to snap it all together. No glue. Just, they all click into place. The instructions are easy to read and follow through to get them built. You just want to take your time with it, that's all. Especially if it's your first one, you want to take your time. The instructions have it all laid out real easily, telling you exactly which part from which runner to take them off of. It's honestly a lot easier than some people might think. Next up, we have the Gym. This is the mass-produced version of the Gundam, so it's got like a full face, like visor faceplate thing instead of an eyes. It doesn't even have like the goggled visor type of the gun cannon. It's like the whole face is just like a window, more or less, at that point. Yeah, they traded in the white for kind of weird grayish thing and moved red up onto the chest. But it can do everything the Gundam can do still. It's just, you know, easier to make. And I do like the design. I like my mass-produced suits. I would actually take a Gym over the gun cannon any day of the week. Alright, and now we got the Goof. This is no Zaku, boy. No Zaku. It looks like a Zaku. It very much does look like a Zaku in pure profile, but it's got horned shoulders and one really big hand with guns at the end of its fingertips. And a whip for good measure. Definitely like it more than the Zaku 2, and more than the Zaku 1. So I'm kind of divided here. I don't know whether to put it into B or into A. Just because I do like it. I do like the goof design pretty well. I mean, it is more or less a souped-up Zaku 2. I mean, not in-universe, but that's just kind of the design philosophy here. I'm gonna put it in B to be safe, just because it only really had maybe 2 really good outings, and that was mostly because of the pilot behind it. After that, this thing became just another mook suit that was just blown up by the, in the dozens. Speaking of, we have the Dom, and I'm assuming this is supposed to be a stand-in for the Rick Dom. It's space variant. What's the difference? Different thruster layout underneath their back skirt and on their feet. Other than that, they're the exact same machine. They get the exact same ranking. Just C. Yeah, the cross-eyed visor with the mono eye that can go, up, down, left, right like that is kind of cool. But he's a big, bulky motherfucker for some reason, despite them making it a high-speed suit. Which, that just doesn't make... Okay, he got big old thermal jets in its legs so it can hover on the ground. But the rest of the suit is also big, massive, and bulky. And you gave it a long-ass thin sword that it has to reach around and pull out fully. Not like the Gundam's beam sabers where you just pull it out, there's the handle, just quick and go. This thing is, I gotta grab, pull the whole blade forward. Other than that, I use a big old bazooka. Not exactly, I would say, the greatest to use in a pinch. And then the Rick Dom is just the same, only now it's in space, so the hover jets in the legs are replaced entirely with just some vernier, so it can't even do what this thing was known for. Of, being able to hover on the ground and move quickly that way. So yeah, he's I'm considering this the Rick Dom. He gets below the regular Dom. Now we get into the aquatic suits, because, my god, Xeon loved their aquatic mobile suits for some reason. And I guess they figured, well, the Earth is mostly water, so let's control the waters. First up is the Gog. How this thing is, built for moving underwater, I don't know. He's giant. He looks like he's wearing a big brown diaper. And he just has big old man-hand claws. Like, not even like, here's a stump with claws on it like the rest of them. These just like, I have regular hands, but they got cartoonishly big claws on the end of them. I'm just gonna scratch you. And then I got lasers in my belly. I have a belly laser. I'm sorry, but yeah, you go right there. You're C tier. You're okay, but you're just like, you're a little ridiculous. Hi, Ruby. What's up, honey? Up next, we have the Ack guy. He's got a weird little nose. I mean, all of them kind of have pig noses, kind of, but his is weird because it droops down that much. It's kind of cool how his mono eye can go, like, pretty much all the way around and even up above. And he's got the, I got stumps and then claws can appear out of them, so that's kind of cool. He can also extend his arms, so that's neat. I definitely like him more than the Gog. A hell of a lot more than the GOG. I actually like him more than the DOMs. You know what? He goes into B. He's actually not too bad. He's a little more, you know, a little more streamlined than, you know, this fat fuck. Alright, now we have the Zagok and Char's Zagok by extension. They're literally the same suit, only one is red. Doesn't even have a horn this time. It's just red. That's it. Yet another aquatic suit, only this one can't retract its claws. They're permanently out there, which, I mean, is okay. Not a big fan of the color, to be honest. But he's a lot more streamlined, especially if he holds its arms together. That's a pretty solid, rounded profile. I can see that cutting through the water a bit better than even the Act guy. You know what? I'm gonna throw these guys in A. They're literally the same, so they just kind of go together. They're the same fucking suit, only Char decided to dip his in red paint. Why? I don't know. He only used it like twice. Okay. Next up is the Zok. What can I say about this thing? Can it even walk? It's got legs. But, like, look at that upper body. This thing has, like, big old, claws, like a bird at the end of its hands. Like, hell, it even has, like, a beak. Like, what is this? Why is this yet another, you know, underwater mobile suit that does not look, you know, hydrodynamic? How does this thing cut through the water well? I'm sorry, as much as I like memes, no, I don't like the Zok. I don't like it at all. At me as much as you want. No. Okay. Moving on now to the Gelgoog. Essentially Zeon's answer to the Gundam, finally. Still follows kind of the same design philosophy with the Zaku's, having a similar head. And, well, it's pretty much like an evolved Zaku 2, in all honesty. It's got the same kind of general look to it. It just has more upgraded stuff, trading in its Heat Hawk, like Heat Axe, for a Beam Saber or Naginata, swapping in its machine gun for a beam rifle, changing over that shield that's stuck on your shoulder for a handheld shield. So honestly, I actually like the Gelgoog pretty well. I actually would say I like it more than the Gym. It's actually a very good... And, yeah, it's Char, so it also has a horn, because, of course it does. In fact, you know, I forgot. Yeah, even the mass production... Actually, I don't like the mass production version nearly as much. Mostly from the color scheme. So actually, it's going to go below. It's still a good design, but the red actually kind of makes it. It makes the design that much better. So, yeah, next we got the Gyan. We only really saw this thing once, but, if I'm being honest, I'm being totally honest with you guys, I like it. I like it a lot. It has a beam sword that's like a fencing saber. It has a big round shield. It does have a knight's profile. I actually like it. Yeah, the head's a little goofy with it literally being like a diamond. But it's a knight. It's basically a knight in mobile suit form. I honestly like it a lot. It is a goofy-ass design, but it's a goofy design I really like. I'd use a Gyan. And then finally we have the Zeong. Goes in C tier. He's just a little too ridiculously big. He's got like 8 jets to keep himself up and moving in space. Is supposed to have legs, but he doesn't, and that's just kind of weird. I think if you add legs onto the Zeong, I think it just makes the design worse. So I'm glad this thing did not get legs in the series. We have seen what it looks like with legs, and I don't like it. Just because of the way the big thrusters are for its waist, it has this really big... It has a really gigantic waist just to go into regular proportioned legs for the rest of the machine. It's weird. I don't like it. It is kind of cool that the head can detach as an escape pod and, you know, emergency fighter craft. But even then, no. It's not that good. So I'll save these later and post them up onto Twitter and onto the Discord. I'll just do it all after, that's all. So there's our Mobile Suit Gundam Mobile Suit tier list. Yeah, if you disagree with me, that's up to you. It's my channel, so while I'm on my channel, I'm always right. From here on out, the lists are going to get a lot bigger. Moving on to Zeta Gundam. We've seen a majority of these suits. A majority. In the playthrough so far. So, first up, we have the Gym 2 and its Ayug variant, which is just, it got dipped in green. The Gym 2 is basically unchanged from the regular Gym. Just purely look-wise, I would give him a B. The green Ayug version, I'm giving that a C. It looks like someone puked all over it. I'm sorry. Why did Ayug decide, yes, puke green is what we need for this suit to know, for everyone to know it's ours now? Why puke green? Alright, up. Next we have the Hyzak. This is just Zaku 2.0. The Zaku 2 2.0, and... you know, he kind of goes into C tier too. He's trying to be the Zaku 2, but... it kind of fails in that regard. Not a big fan, to be perfectly honest. It's just kind of there. The Hyzak Custom, it just kind of changed its backpack and shoulders a little bit, giving it a little more of a personality than just, hi, I'm great value Zaku 2. So, I kind of like the Hyzak Customs a lot more than this guy, so... How do you like that? Just, like, original, recoloring. Original redesigning. Like, I think I got them flipped. Alright, Rick Diaz. Not a big fan of it. I mean, the back binders are kind of okay. I like how its head can flip up into little Vulcan guns, which is something. It's a little different. But I mean, overall, it's just kind of another big, chunky suit. So, yeah, it could be better. It's not the worst thing around. It could be better. Alright, the Titans Gundam Mark II. And I guess also the regular Mark II. The regular Mark II, I'm going to tell you right now, S tier. I really like the Gundam Mark II. I like the look. The Titans version... The difference is literally a color scheme. Also S tier, because it's the same design, but I like the Titans colors a lot more. Up next, we have the Galbati Beta. What can I even say about this thing? Not a fan. Especially that color. It's like very kind of like a darkish brown or red going on there. Its head's a little too high and a little too flat. Nothing really special going on there. The Marasai. Okay, that guy gets an instant A. He's like the Zaku 2 on fucking steroids. I have my spiked shoulder, but it's even spikier. I have my shoulder shield, but it's even fucking bigger. I have my head, but I've got it flared out and an even longer horn. Come at me, bro. This thing is really good. Next up, we have the Nemo, the AUG's own mass-produced Mook suit. And honestly, I do kind of like the Nemo a lot more than I like the Gym 2. I mean, it very much takes the same design cues from the Gym 2, which is kind of the point. But it tweaks them a little bit. The head's a little more, different shape. The chest vents are in a slightly different position, different angles. Shoulders are pretty unique. Yeah, I prefer the Nemo. I like the Nemo. It's a good design. Matches up there with the Marasai. This is very much like, while it's not actually in the show, this is very much Zeon and Federation 2.0. Like, this looks like how, if someone was doing their redesigns or a time skip, this is how they would evolve the Zaku 2 in the gym. This looks a little more heavily armored, a little more ready to go kind of thing, and this guy just became a lot more savage. Hyakushiki. While not an absolute S tier of a design, it is still a very, very good design for me. That gold coloring with wing binders, a visored head that can have eyes appear on it. Very, very striking. Honestly, it's still humanoid. It's not a Gundam, but it's like a step away from being a Gundam. It's a pseudo Gundam. That I do like that about it. Really not much I can say from it there. It's just a very good design. Next up, we have the Masala. Honestly, this thing is kind of too big. Its head is like sunken into its body, and it transforms into like a weird fighter jet thing. Its shoulders are also so giant that are part of the transformation. Like they extend out, which I believe can be used as like cannons, and then the back are like multiple thrusters, which is mostly for movement. But it's like my shoulders stick out 40 feet from the rest of my body. I could do without the Masala. I could do without. The Asimar, Flying Donut. That guy kind of goes here. He's got the Dom head, which is okay-ish. But I mean, you turn into a donut. You transform into a circle donut with a gun kind of just slapped it underneath. It's okay. It's, not a fan of this thing. I'm not a fan of the Asimar. The Kaplant. It's got the same kind of sunken head as the Masala in a way, but I do like how its arms are separated from, like, the wings. The wings are kind of on their own swivel. They can move around. Hey, Andrew, how's it going, buddy? I heard about the Gundam model that I used to put together and paint model car. 65 Mustang's my favorite to build. No, nice. I like how you got a favorite, and Mustang, good choice. Very good choice. I would have to rate the Gaplant just a B. It's pretty, it's decent. It's one of those middle roads. The Psycho Gundam. This thing is just giant. But it has a really awkward, like, flight transformation that makes no sense. It's basically just a hovering building. I mean, I kind of like it. I like it, but I don't at the same... You also get a B. You're all right. You're basically just a Gundam, but really big and dipped in black paint. The Methus... Nope, too far. No. Just... No. It's got a very awkward looking design. It has like a hooked crotch for whatever reason. If I remember it right, its upper body and lower body are like barely connected, all because of the transformation. And it just has this weird, look at my giant back cone. That's gonna be my stand-in cockpit when I transform, but otherwise it's just a big target. Yeah, not a big fan of the Methus. The Zeta Gundam. Right there. Very sleek looking. The transformation has baffled everyone trying to make the company from making model kits for forever, because its transformation is almost nearly impossible to do properly in real life. They have to take a lot of liberties to get that to work, and it ends up being over-designed. But he's got a very different face. He doesn't have the mouth vents like regular ones. He has like a fully like enclosed one, giving him a much more menacing look. Even like how the eyes and everything are with the V-fin. It gives it a much more menacing look to it. Like, yeah, this ain't the Gundam Mark II anymore. This thing has been made to kill. So it's definitely higher than the Hyakushiki. But not as... I still prefer the Mark II overall. At least I'm not alone anymore. The Gap Fleet... I mean... It's better than the Hyzak. It's another one of those transforming why do you exist suits. He's got shoulder cannons that I think can only be used in his transformed state, so it's like, alright, one less weapon for you. Now I'm not the only one who hasn't built a Gundam. A lot of people haven't built a Gundam. Let's be honest. Okay, what's next? The DJ. That goes an S. As much as you think this is one of the goofiest things I've ever seen, why does it have back fins? That's why I like it. It is really fucking unique and different. What suits have giant back fins like a fucking, fish? It's big and bulky, yes, but its head is also very kind of uniquely designed. It's basically, it's like a good mesh of a Gundam and a Zeon suit. That's kind of what's going on there. And I like that. I actually like that a lot. And again, the giant radiator sails on his back is, while hilarious, is also really cool, because it does give it a very unique silhouette. I like the DJ. Virulent. Right there. Again, another unique profile. It's very, very wide. It's got very weird little, just tiny claw hands, so it can only use its onboard weaponry to do anything, but it can fly on its own. It doesn't need to be sitting on something else to keep it in the air. This thing can fly in atmosphere for almost as long as it wants, until its fuel runs out. It is like the perfected in-atmosphere flying suit. It's got, again, a very unique profile. You see this thing coming, you know it means business. I think it has a... Does the Virulent have a mono eye? I'm gonna have to look at a different picture of it real quick. Virulent. Does it have a mono eye? Okay, yeah, it does have a mono eye. But it also kind of has, like, what is supposed to be a Gundam's V-fin. But it's been, like, split apart and moved backwards. It's like this... It's almost like it's a almost corrupted Gundam, I would say, just from that V-fin alone. It's a distinct yellow. If it was like any other color like the rest of the suit, you wouldn't think of it. But the fact they made it yellow really made it stand out. It's like, this is like a twisted and deformed Gundam. Which I could see. Next we have the Humbrambe. Flying manta ray in space. No, thank you. Its transformation is just... I'm gonna make myself go... like that. I'm just gonna fold myself in half and then, woo, flying form. I also have a stinger, like a manta ray. Why? I don't know. Not a fan. The Bound Dock. This thing is weird looking. It's got a big old claw arm on one hand. The other arm is kind of normal with a regular hand, but a big weird shield thing that acts as the head when it's transformed. It's got big old feet, kind of a little more spindly legs, than a gigantic waist and shell. It's different. You recall Gundams? I remember Xenogears and Xenosaga having battle with giant piloted mechs. Fun game if you're looking for solid old school game. I'm at least aware of the Xenogears Xenosaga stuff. I'm aware of their existence. I might at some point. We'll see though. I mean, I do have a lot on my plate. But I have absolutely no problem playing older games. I mean, I kind of have plans to play more older games. And I mean, if it's got mechs, you know I'm in. You know I'm a mech fan. Everyone knows I'm a mech fan at this point. Hi, Ruby. What's up, honey? Bound Dock? It's also like a weird rabbit, too, with its ear, like, weird antenna on its head. This thing looks so out of place, in all honesty. Out of everything on here, it looks really out of place. And its mobile armor form is basically, I just kind of shrink into my waist, and now I'm like a giant dome that flies. Huh? I'm just get. But I do still kind of like it, so it's gonna go into B. It's still middle of the ground, but it's like middle of the middle ground. Oh, redeemed a fact. Yusuke. Alright. Fact, fact, fact. Thinking. Sorry, I am really trying to think of one right now. See if I can get some inspiration. Yeah, you know what? Fuck this. I kind of got something. Okay. In Kamen Rider Ryuki, one of the riders was Kamen Rider Ryuga. He's basically a dark version of the main character. He was only movie exclusive though. He'd only showed up in the movies. Wasn't even hinted to have really existed in the main series. He actually never showed up. In fact, a few riders of the 13 riders that are supposedly in Ryuki's series never showed up in the series at all. That would include Ryuga, Femme, and Verde. Those three never appeared in the show proper. Jumping over into when Ryuki got adapted in English as Kamen Rider Dragon Knight over in North America, they decided to incorporate Ryuga and even the other two into the plot a bit more. They actually had the main character become Ryuga after losing his first power set. Granted, he had a different name, but our main character and hero was wearing a dark version of his suit. And made probably more appearances than Ryuga did up until that point. I mean, now he's in a lot of things. Anytime they have Ryuki in anything, for any kind of anniversary special or whatever, Ryuga's gonna be there. Like 100%. So yeah, even Femme got a bit more of an expanded role. Or Femme, yeah, they got a much more expanded role in the American version. So movie-exclusive writers got more screen time in America than they did in Japan. Yeah, Fies is getting its anniversary special, so that's kind of fun. Alright, continuing on with Zeta's tier list here. The Psycho Gundam Mark II. C tier. It's trying to be it's basically got the same setup as the Psycho Gundam, but it's purple and they gave it a much more menacing looking face just to really sell home that I am evil. It doesn't work. He kind of lost something there. Next we have the Barzam. Weird look going on here. He's got like a crotch laser type of thing, a weird sunken head. His arms are a little too high over his body. Yeah, I could do without. Not a big fan of the Barzam. And also a weird back head fin thing. I don't know, it's like trying to have a mohawk. This motherfucker. That's like the Bolanox Samhain or something. Another you don't need to be here kind of thing. You're just there. You're weirdly proportioned in general. Not a huge fan. The Palace Athena. It's a little better. Still not great. A little too much green, if you ask me. A little too much green going on with that and the last one. Just why? Why are you so green? The O. This is a chonker of a suit, but that doesn't slow it down. It does have a very weird head. Its head is very conical, like coned. It's very tall for like almost no reason, but its front skirt can flip out 2 extra arms, so it could, if it really wanted to, it could dual wield 4 beam sabers. And then it's just got a big gun. This thing is so big and bulky, beams don't penetrate its armor. At a point where one stray beam shot will punch through any amount of armor. This guy's just like, shoot me all day, it's gonna do nothing. My armor is too thick. And I do kind of like it. He's just a big motherfucker that just appears. remember having a childhood crush on Kimberly Hart, the Pink Ranger, growing up. And I later learned that when filmed in suit, it wasn't her in the suit, it was a stuntman in his 50s. Yeah, they're almost always men. Older Japanese men. Yeah, the only time you know it's for sure if she's the one in the suit is if she's got the helmet off. That's the only time you know for sure. Other than that, always assume a man. But that's not fair, because there are also female stunt actors. There are women stunt actors for in-suit things. Again, prime examples in Kamen Rider Gaim. Kamen Rider Marika, the person in and out of the suit, is the exact same person. She just plays the character when she's not in the suit doing all the stunts. That's the only time, literally the only time you know there's a lady in that suit. The Gaza Sea. What even is this? What even is this? Like, I have a cannon for an arm, a regular arm here, I got something big on my back, I kind of transform with a circle on a cannon. No, just no. I no, you're like just as bad as the Methus. You gotta specify Kamen Rider Barons, sort of, kind of. I mean, she was more his. He was more her husbando. He could care less about her. He didn't really care that much. And then finally we have the Cubile. Where do you think I'm gonna put this thing? Right there. It's better than the Ayug Mark II, but not as good as the Titans Mark II. These suits have the exact same fucking design, but just have a different color scheme, and I think the Cubile beats out the color scheme. It is an alien-looking design, but it is a threatening design. This thing just needs to fly straight at you, not even moving its limbs, and you're gonna be terrified. Alright, so that's Zeta done. Now we're moving on to Gundam Wing. This might be a little easier, could also be a little harder, and I'm amazed they decided to add an F tier. Why would they add an F tier? I don't think I need an F tier, actually, so, yeah, I'm just gonna go, S to D. That's it, I don't need that. Unicorn will be easy. I don't have Unicorn on here. I don't have anything from Unicorn on here. I only have Original, Zeta, Gundam Wing, Gundam Seed, and Gundam 00. Alright, so starting off is the Leo and its space variant. What are the difference? A color scheme and a backpack. That's it. But regular Leo, it gets an A. Space Leo, it's gonna get a B. I do not like the purple. The green on the Leo is just better. Then we have the Trogdos. Or Trogos. It's like a weird tank Leo. No. Go away. I don't like this. I'm actually, I kind of like the Ares a lot more than the space one. It looks like a dude in a fighter suit as it goes, mostly from its helmet, like its head. It looks like a pilot's helmet. Fits its role as being an air superiority suit, even though it kind of sucks. Still, I like it well enough. It's good middle ground. The Pisces. I'll give it C tier at the very least. It's got very elongated limbs with, like, propellers at the end. So something. Other than that, it's just kind of there. The cancer, it's a crab. That's it. This thing is just a crab with no legs. You're gonna go in C tier along with the Pisces. These are the only two aquatic mobile suits in Wing. Thank God. The Taurus. Honestly, I'm gonna give that an A just because it's got a very good design. Like, its lower body is very slick and the upper body is very pointy and menacing looking. I'm not the biggest fan of its mobile armor mode, but just on its own, just in its regular mobile suit form, I actually do like it. Not as much as the Leo, though. The Leo is just... it's like the definition of a grunt, but it works so well. Next we have the Virgo. Shoulders are a little too big. And not a big fan of just the giant cannon literally welded to the bottom of its arm. I mean, it makes that easy for it to do things, but I have a cannon welded to the bottom of my arm. I can't drop it. I have no other weapons. I think that's just a C. Low C. The Virgo 2, definitely an improvement. I mean, the shoulders are still a little bulky, but I think it's kind of cut down a little bit because of addition of boosters into them. So it also doesn't have a cannon welded to the bottom of its arm, so now it can do more things. Color scheme's a little okay, but I mean, yeah, actually, I prefer the Virgo 2's color scheme to the regular Virgos. That's a little too dark. The Meganeck. I consider that another A-tier design. It gives you a little more Zaku vibes with it being a mono eye, and it also has a tomahawk, like a heat tomahawk, so that gives you the Zaku vibes, but it has that more of a Gundam look to it. Having a fully proportioned body and arms, nothing's too big other than the front end, but that's all armor. So it just kind of armored itself up, a little more bulbous than... say the Leo and stuff. While it looks like it's armored, the Meganeck looks a lot more armored. Speaking of big and bulbous, the Oliphant, the rarely used tank variant of the Meganeck, it can go here with the Tragos. This thing should not exist. It has fucking elephant legs. Hence its name, Oliphant. But no, this is ridiculous. Just make a tank at this point. Don't bother with the legs. Just make it a tank. Okay, the original Wing Gundam. Where do I put the titular suit? Just B tier. That's it. Middle ground. It's alright. Nothing crazy. It's alright. Not super fantastic. Not terrible by any means. It's good. It's a good design. Like its shield, like its gun, its wings are, decent sized. I like it. Yeah, it's very good. Now, if we're talking great suits, Death Scythe. Death Scythe, just... yes. Just, yes. I put that in there so fast. Kind of joining it nearby in A tier is going to be the Heavy Arms, because I like a lot of guns. That'll also go for its upgraded form, the Heavy Arms Custom, or Kai if you want to call it that. The only real big difference is instead of one Gatling gun arm, it now has a double Gatling gun arm. That's it, that's all. By comparison, Sandrock. It's gonna go into B. It's okay. It's just kind of your standard Gundam. It's standard. Nothing really special about it. It uses two giant swords. I kind of like the flayed shoulders like that. But other than that, there's nothing special. Its upgraded form gives it an Uzi. That's it. It didn't even have a ranged weapon originally. Its upgraded form was, here's an Uzi. Space Uzi. Enjoy. So it's just kind of, yeah, it's there. That's all. The Shenlong. I'll rank it higher than the Wing, but he's still very just kind of okay. He has an extendo dragon arm, has a big old glaive, and then just a simple little shield. He's okay. Nothing crazy going on here. Tallgeese, S, just S tier, S tier. Tallgeese is number 1. I like his big, Roman helmet-looking brush over his head. Big old verniers on his back. Big-ass gun. Nice little shield. Stark white. A blue, lensed eye covers. I love the Tallgeese. The Tallgeese is just perfect. Moving on to the Wing Zero. This guy, he definitely gets an A. He looks like a much beefier Wing Gundam, even though he came before the Wing. He's got a double rifle. His shield is a little bigger and more pointy. His wings are more fold out, a little bit beefier, bigger shoulder. Everything on him just looks bigger, beefier, bulkier, ready to do more damage. It's just that little bit better than the Wing. And almost better than all of them. Death Scythe Hell. I'm putting that in C. I'm not a fan of this cloak that opens up, so I got 4 giant wing kind of things. The only thing I think it improves on is now its chest kind of looks like a ribcage. But beyond that, I'm not a fan of the cloak opening up to being just so tall. It's just, why? Not a huge fan. The Eltron Gundam. I'm gonna put him actually underneath Shenlong. He has literally the same shield, only now it's just strapped to his shoulder for no reason. 2 dragon arms and a little scorpion tail gun is nice, but other than that, nothing too crazy. Just kind of, yeah, he's here. And also the color scheme is just kind of eh. The Viat. This is like a step between the Tallgeese and a Gundam. Just a kind of like a little step. But I still like the Viat enough. I like its big old gun, and it literally straps a reactor on its back to power this thing. You gotta be pretty ballsy to carry around a gigantic target like your gun's main reactor. Its partner unit, the Mercurius, however... I'm not really a fan. They share the same kind of... They literally share the same design, other than a head and what weapons they have on. And this thing has a tiny little gun, a shield, and then a whole bunch of circles on his back to deploy an energy field. Not really a fan of this thing. I much prefer the Viat to the Mercurius. Continuing on with that, we have the Tallgeese 2. What's the difference? A different head thing, and it's got some blue into it. Because it's a Tallgeese, it's still S, but it's lower than the original Tallgeese, and lower than even Death Scythe. The weird new head cone thing and the blue it detracts from the Tallgeese design, in my opinion. The Epion, good old the Edge. He transforms like a he looks like a big bat with the bat wings, and he's got a whip, and when he transforms, his legs look like dragon heads. I will be honest, though. I still like it. Death Scythe, you think, would be the edge suit. Epion takes that a step further. I mean, this thing is Death Scythe. It wields a beam scythe. It carries a shield that fires out. This thing goes invisible. That's pretty nothing personnel, kid. This guy's just the devil. If Death Scythe is the Grim Reaper, Epion is the devil. Moving on over into the Endless Waltz variants of everybody now. What do we got? The Serpent. Not a huge fan. It's just another big, bulky machine. Yeah, it has a big gun and missiles in its shoulder, but even then... it doesn't... It's like trying to be knockoff Heavy Arms. I mean, that's more or less... It's more or less knockoff Heavy Arms. It uses, like, slightly degraded versions of the EW Heavy Arms weapons, and... No, it doesn't do it for me. Tall Geese 3. Yeah, it has a little bit of blue in there, but it's a little less. It's just kind of sprinkled throughout. Slightly different shoulders. It's got, like, Epion shield, more or less, equipped with it, along with that whip. It has a much more powerful gun, and it's got a different face and head crest again. Definitely better than the 2. Not as good as the 1. I so much prefer the 1, but the 3 comes really close. The Wing Zero Custom. No. Just... the angel wings is too much. The rest of the suit is fine. It's those angel wings that just ruin it. Like, that's a bit much. These are literal angel wings with, like... feather-looking thrusters on them, too. No, that's too much. On the opposite side of the spectrum, the Death Scythe Hell Custom, or EW. Yes, yes, yes. They took that Batwing design from the original Hell and actually made them proper wings that still enclose it entirely like a cloak. That is just yes. It gives me a little more Epion vibes with how pointy, but it outdoes it. This is back to being, ooh, the edge. The Heavy Arms Custom EW. That gets a solid A. It has 2 double-barreled Gatling gun arms. It's got missiles just everywhere. Just the whole thing opens up and it's just missiles and missiles and then bullets. Yes, please. Just, yes, please. Sandrock Custom EW. Not a fan. Why are the vents red? Why do you have a mohawk that is bright red now? Your shoulders are really weird looking, and you still have those 2 giant metal swords, only now they look even worse. I could do without. Ultron EW. I'll be honest, it's a decent suit. Yeah, I'm gonna put it there. It still has the Extendo Dragon arms, but it still has access to its regular hands again. They're now just things that are over top of its hands. It can launch those out, but it still has access to, you know, my actual fist to fight. I can do more things at once. Yeah, it loses the dragon tail, the scorpion tail blaster, but I think that's a much improved design over the other 2. so there's my wing tier list for that one. That one went pretty well, I think. I'm gonna take a quick break because I need to use the bathroom, and then we'll move right into seed, which might take a little longer. So, BRB. Alright. See? Very quick. Alright, moving on to our second last tier list. And yeah, this one might take a little bit of time. But then again, this is actually a lot less than I thought. So, we have the Standard Strike Gundam. First up for seed. Strike, I say, gets, yeah, I'm gonna give Strike an A. I actually like the Strike. I like it decently enough. It's a nice solid suit, very basic. And then we get into all of its armor-packed variants. The Ale Strike is an S. This thing, it just looks really good, in all honesty. The Ale Strike looks very good in its own series. That being said, not a big fan of the Sword Strike. And Launcher's just kind of okay. Actually, I'll put a Launcher in A, but Sword Strike, no. Perfect Strike, however, where it has everything thrown onto it, that gets an S. Absolutely. Perfect Strike is... it might be overkill, there might be a lot going on, but I like that about it. It's just one of those, what if I use all my equipment at once? It's trying to play everything at once, and just perfection. Hence its name. But I'm sorry, that gets beaten out by our next ones. The Dual Gundam and the Dual Assault Shroud. I love the Dual. It is so simple. It is so basic. But I love it anyway. The Assault Shroud just, makes it a little more beefy. Actually, I'll do it like that. Perfect Strike beats out the Assault Shroud variant. But, Dual beats out all of them. I'd be mad if you don't give an A or S to Kyrios. You gotta give us a little bit of time. I'll get there, and we'll see what you'll see what I think. Buster. Honestly, I like him more than the regular Strike. I like the dual guns. In just a more simplified package than this motherfucker. The Blitz. Like it more than Strike. It's like I got a different looking everything. Every other one is very boxy, while the Blitz is a lot more rounded. It has a big-ass shield, it's got a weird claw thing it shoots out, and it goes invisible. I kind of like that. The Aegis. He goes down here with Sword Strike. Its transformation into like a flying squid? No. And then even in mobile suit form, it's a little weird. Not exactly doing you any favors. We even got a few mobile armors in here. So we have the Mobius Zero. Honestly, it goes into C. I mean, it's like a fighter jet with one big gun and then, like, I don't know, barrels slapped onto it. The regular Mobius mobile armor I could do without it entirely. This thing looks awful. This thing looks absolutely awful. The Jin. The, Cosmic Era's initial Zaku 2 variant. Like, you know, Zaku 2 XP. There's no... I saw someone post this once and I can't get out of my head. The Jin looks like a Zaku 2 wearing a parakeet fursuit. I can't get that out of my head. That being said, the Jin is a solid design. I do like it a lot. It doesn't use an axe like a Zaku. It just uses a sword. It straight up has a sword. Which I think is pretty cool. It gives it more of a Romanesque look to it, especially with that big old thing on its head. It looks like a Roman soldier. The Saigu, or Saigu, is just kind of like a more expanded Jin. A little more beefed up, so it's still a decent design, so it's gonna go there. The Gways. Not a fan of the Gways. It's still under the Gundams, but I have a shield that emits 2 beams out of it like a claw. That's about all it's got going on for it. I don't really know what this thing is, so it's going to go into D. I think it's just kind of a thing people ride in to move heavy equipment. Why it's here on this list, I don't know. So guess what? If I can't remember it, it can go away. The Baku. Dog. Dog suit. Roams around the sands and everything. Can be just quadrupedal, or it can just fold down even more to be on treads. Its guns rotate, which is a plus. Beam sabers out the side of its face, so it can just run by and quickly, you know, hit something. Just really quick, just kind of scratch something's ankles. Another B. The Legao, basically just a souped-up Baku. But it's a 2-seater. One can man the weapons, one pilots the suit itself. That I'll give to A, because that's actually pretty neat. I like that. It can do everything the Baku can do, only it's a little tougher. I think this thing is called the Zot, or Zwart, or or Gazoot, something. It's their tank. Kinda. It can be a mobile suit, then it can fold down to be a tank, kind of like the gun tank. Guess what? I could do without its existence. It's okay. It's the best of the stuff that could just go away, but it could still go away. The Goon. C tier. It's an underwater mobile suit. And then this thing can go away. We did not need two of them. We did not need 2 aquatic suits like this. Especially one that like barely shows up. I mean, both of these barely show up, but I hate this thing more than I hate this one. The Din. Kind of an atmosphere flying variant of the Jin. C tier. It's okay. It's just kind of there. mean, at least they gave it a different head and a slightly modified... Actually, I think it's more based off the Sagu than anything. Just looking at the arts here, but it should be a Jin variant. What's Oz's final form? Okay, do you want the real answer, or do you want fan answers? Because you want the real answer, it's Pusotira. If you want the fan answers, it's Tajadol. No, it's Super Tatoba. No, it's actually Tajadol Eternity. Actually, let me put it this way. Pusotira is Oz's final form. Tajadol is Edgy's final form, and Tajadol Infinity is Ank's final form. We're gonna ignore Super Tatoba. That's not a final form, that's just a power-up mode. Yeah, big brain. Yeah, difference between Oz's final form and the people who are actually turned into Oz. There's differences. Next up is the Strike Dagger, the modified and mass-produced version of the Strike Gundam. He's actually gonna rank up there right next to Strike. It's simple. I like mass-produced stuff. Especially if I can see how they turned the main suit into the mass-produced simplified version. And you can see that. All the design pieces are there from the Strike. This is literally the Universal Century. I mean, this is the Cosmic Era's gym. And it just works. You can literally see how this what could have been dumbed down from the Strike. Alright, I'm gonna be honest. The Skygrasper, it's okay in theory, but they're all pretty much the same. I'm okay with them existing. Because it is neat that they could mount all of the different striker packs that the Strike has and can actually bring them to him to swap out with. It gives them more options. Actually, you know what? I could do without the sword Skygrasper. So you want me to fly around in a jet, but then I gotta swing down a giant sword and hope I run into something with it. The Launcher and Ale Strike variants are better because it actually, yeah, both of them a little higher because it gives them, actually gives it weapons that I can use. But yeah, the sword Skygrasper can go away. The M1 Astray, one of the other mass-produced suits in the series. I actually like the Astray. I'd rank it higher than the Blitz, but under the Buster. Because this is basically like, here's literal mass-produced Gundams. They have the Gundam face and everything. And we have a nice small army of them. I like them. The Strike Rouge. I like it better than regular Strike. The red and pink just work a little bit better than the blue and red. Now we're getting into the bigger boys. The Calamity Gundam. There is nothing subtle about this thing at all. I have giant over-the-shoulder cannons. I hold a big bazooka. I have a cannon in my chest. I have cannons on my shield. You want something shot at? I got you. I got you, fam. His face is a little weird, though. Well, the next three guys' faces are a little weird. But definitely an A. I'd probably tie him with the Buster, because they fill like the exact same roles of just artillery support. The Forbidden Gundam. Honestly, not a fan. He's a little too big and wields a scythe, but the blade is actually really short. Yeah, he's got a cool gimmick where he can fire beams out and they bend, but like... Raider? Go away. Just... The Raider Gundam? No. Sorry. You like, literally throw up a laser as your biggest heavy-hitting move. Other than that, you have, like, a machine gun on your arm and then a literal medieval flail. No thanks. Freedom. Freedom is a very good design. I like the Freedom Gundam design a lot. The wings add a lot. It's got its side skirts fold out into more guns. I mean, there's 2 guns hiding in the wings. This is a good design. This is a big upgrade from the Strike. Yeah, the Freedom Gundam. Hey, Mari, I'm gonna listen to you while I shower. Well, don't be in there too long. I mean, I know how my voice is. I hope you're doing good, Mari. Oh, shut it, Yusuke. The Justice Gundam, I'd probably put that as A. It'd be a low A, though. It's okay. Its backpack can come off and it can ride the backpack, but, like, after that backpack comes off, he looks very bare bones and not good at all. So, I mean, it's still a good design, but it's just a bit too much, especially the different colors between the rest of his body and the backpack itself. He's got, like, a more pinkish purple going on, while his backpack is just straight up purple. A little too much of a disconnect. And finally, we have the Providence Gundam. He has, like, a boat wheel on his back, but all those little sprockets off the cog and crap are remote weapons that fly around. You know what? Honestly, I like it. He's right up there with Freedom and Duel. In all honesty. As weird as it sounds, I like it. It does have a very distinct silhouette with that giant cogwheel. His one arm is like fully encapsulated with a shield and beam saber, like, emitter. And then he's got a giant gun. Like, the gun is almost as tall as the mobile suit is. And he holds that thing and uses it one hand. Like, that is not a beam rifle. That's a beam cannon. And he just uses that willy-nilly. It has a second handle on there so they could, like, you know, hold the side and then fire that way, but he doesn't need it. He can't use it. His other hand is covered by a beam saber shield thing. Who the hell needs it? Yeah. Probably a lot of controversial choices so far. Now we move on to our last and final tier list of this random makeshift day after I was late. And it might take a little bit, possibly. That is our 00 tier list. And actually, where is it? Where is it hiding? You're all the way over there? I'm gonna throw a whole bunch of I forgot about variants that are around here, so I'm gonna just throw them together to make it simpler on myself. Wait, did they really not? Oh my god, they never actually put the other one. Huh. Neat, I guess. Alright, so Gundam 00. Right out the gate, we have the O Gundam, how it initially appeared and how it appeared later on with a color scheme. The O Gundam itself, A tier. with its color scheme. Still A tier, but it's higher than regular. The full gray is something, but just giving it that classic Gundam paint scheme really works for it. And really, I mean, the way it's deliberately designed to look like the original Gundam from, you know, Mobile Suit Gundam. That's the point of it. Though if you take a look at its official line art, its head is really fucked up. I don't know why, which sucks, but I'm judging it as a whole. Next, we have Gundam Exia, our main suit from in Season 1 of our main character. It's got a boatload of swords. It has a very different look to it compared to, you know, traditional Gundam. It's gonna go in... Actually, it's gonna go between the two O Gundams. It's a good, solid design, I would say. The Exia Repair, even though it's not really repaired, everything on it is broken. It's missing an arm, it has a broken sword, missing kneecap covering. Its one eye was gouged out and replaced with a weird red one. I don't care, I can be an edgy bitch, I like that. I like this, it's wrecked, but I'm just keeping it together to keep fighting look. I don't care, I'm an edgy bitch. The Exia Repair 2, honestly, it's just Exia again. Different sword, less outer cables, that's it. There's nothing else different about it. It's just Exia. That's it. Dynamis. Right up there. I like, I'd put it underneath Exia Repair. I like the Dynamis. I like this long-range sniping suit. I do like it a lot. I do like how it gets its upgrade with like a literal shield that can fold over its entire front half. But it can open up parts of it so it can stick its arm out to shoot its tiny pistols. I mean, those shields can move all around the body, so it's got, you know, that shit covered. Its movie redesign in the Dynamis Repair after the, you know, series and stuff, yeah, it's just B. The way the shield is now, I mean, it's the same as Dynamis still, but it's just different enough that I'm not a fan of the Dynamis Repair. I know this is the one Yusuke has been waiting for. Kyrios, our transforming mobile suit. Regular Kyrios on its own. I'd say it's A. That's a solid design. Kyrios is pretty solid. It could do with a little more orange on it, though. It's the orange on it is literally just the chest and two little bits on its shoulders, which isn't really much. When you compare it to stuff like the Dynamis and the Exia, where they have their main color kind of spread out more. Exia has it on its chest and its shoulders, and Dynamis has it pretty much everywhere. Kyrios just needs a little more orange, and then I think it would probably be a little bit better. But overall, good. I like the design. Gundam Virtue. This big, beefy motherfucker. The Chonk suit is a chonky boy. That's like right up there. Is a big boy. I like it. I like he doesn't give a shit. He's thick. It's thick in all the right places. Which is everywhere. But then hiding underneath the Virtue, we have the Nodley. The hair's a little weird. I'll be honest. The power cable's stretching out to be hair when it ejects all of the armor. It is pretty weird. But I do like me my stripped down suits. In fact, I'm gonna call that total. That's like top of S so far. I like it. I do like it. You got this big chunky boy, and then underneath you got this. Just literally no armor, completely bare. The GN arms. I could do with it. I don't care about the support craft that they kind of like sit in as a throne sort of thing. It's... Is there no Iron-Blooded Orphans tier list? There is, but all the pictures they had were kind of really shitty and cut off most of the mobile suit, and they weren't in an actual order. They were just kind of all over the place. And they included a lot that were just like literally the same, but then they didn't put in some that were slight. It was weird, all over the place, and I didn't like it. I'll probably end up making one of my own, just to, you know, throw up there, because that one's just, well, it wasn't the best. Next up, we have the Union flag. I think I know my feelings about the Union flag. It's an okay thing, but eesh, the kit kind of ruined it for me. Its legs are a little too long. Its torso is a little too short. The head's alright. It's an okay design. Graham's Union flag. Or is that an over flag? Hold on. I'm checking. See if, oh, Christ. Okay, so I think that's like Graham's flag or the over flag. Whatever you want to call it. I mean, at that point, they're the same thing. The over flag was made because of Graham's Union flag. They made them all the same. The black kind of works a little bit better. I mean, it's got the exact same problems as the regular Union flag. So, yeah, it's still C tier, but it's better than the regular. The GN flag. Graham's final suit in Season 1. You nix the transformation, you ditch all the weapons and everything that made the Union flag, but gave it a beam saber. And a very awkward GN drive. It's better than Union flag, not as good as the over flag. The Union Rialdo. The thing that came before the flag. Worse, because it looks even worse. It looks terrible. I'm sorry, it looks awful. I think this is called the Rialdo Cannon. Just a tank version of it. That didn't need to exist. Not a fan of turning suits into tanks for no reason. Just no. The AEU's Helion. Or Helion, however you want to call it. It's another one of those, no, you just look awful. But I mean, you can exist. Why it needed a variant? No, it needs to go away. No, I don't like... I'm fine with one version of a previous suit, not this kind of shit. They just gave it a different color scheme and maybe a different head. No, go away. I'm tired of it. The Enact. All fucking 4 variants of it. It literally has the exact same problems as the Union flag. Only it has a different head and slightly different look to it, but it functions quite literally the same way. Literally the same. So, guess where it goes? In the exact same... Ah, actually, you know what? I'm putting that one there for memes. Just because that's Patrick's. That's Patrick's Enact, and Patrick is just, you know, awesome. Just his awesomeness alone makes that one go up. Heliel Sachez's fucking Enacts. The first one's gonna go there. The second one is going to go above the overflag. This might seem really random, but the red kind of really works a little better than the blue. Actually, the blue is a little better than the regular enact, but not as good as the Union flag. The mobile armor, this fucking thing attached, this can go away. We did not need that. This is just more take a mobile suit's top half, slap it onto something else for a bottom half, and call it a day. No thank you. The ANF. Literally the first mobile suit we see, and it's an older one, and looks like something that would actually kind of get made. It's more a weapons platform on legs than anything. So, I'm gonna give that a B. Hey, Brozard. Yep, it is a lot of robots. We're doing tier lists. We've already gone through 4 other Gundam ones. The original, Zeta, Wing, Seed, and now we're on to Double O. How you doing, Brozard? And next we have the Tyrian. I mean, this thing's alright. I'm doing alright. Was gonna go for a walk and get some coffee. Nice, nice. I mean, the Tyrian's like an upgraded ANF, more or less. It's just a bit bulkier, more armor. And its head isn't as so far out of its body. It's a little more squished in. So that shows an advancement. Yeah, you know what? I'll give the Tyrian high B. Dynamis, go away. And now we get into the ridiculousness shit. I believe this is the Tyrian high mobility type, aka we gave it wings and a lot of thrusters to make this giant brick fly. It goes underneath, because it's funny. I think these are the Tyrian ground types. We're getting a bit much. They'll be high C. I think one's even just the commander variant, which is even worse. The Tyrian space types. I'm sorry, no. As much as the Tyrian's okay, these are just dumb. We got giant fucking, what, fuel pods sticking out of our knees? One shot to our lower legs and we'll blow up immediately. That's just an awful design. Okay, this one is just funny. Here's a Tyrian, but we replaced the entire head with just a giant gun. I'll be honest. It gets high, it gets low A just for the ridiculousness of my head is a gun. I'm a big block with a gun for a head. That's all it gets. The Tyrian Tausi. No. This is supposed to be an ace machine, yet it came to them painted pink. Has the big fuel thing sticking out of its back no matter where it is. Other than that, it's like, what the hell's the difference? I prefer the regular Tyrians to this thing. Like, just no. Hey, an underwater mobile armor that was used a grand total of once and failed in like 10 seconds. Guess what? You can go into D tier. You don't need to exist. Now we get into the good shit. Sorta. The Gundam Thrones. Throne Eins, Zwei, and Dry. Give me a Heisei Rider. Kaiza. So, Throne Eins for total long-range fire support with a big-ass fucking gun. I like it. I like my shooty boys. The Zwei with a giant-ass sword and remote weapons. The Dry. No. Not a fan of its bulbous head. Its shoulders are weird. I mean, its backpack is nice, but it's got weird asymmetrical shoulders. One that's just there to kind of be a shield, and the other to launch missiles. But it's like just looks like a rectangle sitting there. So no. Sorry, Naina's suit does not get to join her brothers. The Jinx. Seeing a lot of these flying at once reminds me of like a swarm of hornets. Just the way their silhouette is, it reminds me of like some kind of bug flying around in a swarm, and I do kind of like that. I'd give that a high B, just because I like them in mass numbers. The Alvator can just... No, I'm tired of mobile armors. I'm tired of big, gaudy mobile armors. I'm not a fan of this thing. And it comes out with a big, weird mouth for some reason to shoot a laser? No. Just no. The Alvaron, I believe it was called, that's sitting in this thing, it's an okay design. I'll put it above the Tyrann. It's kind of basic-ish looking. It's supposed to be like a final boss suit, but it's not too distinct. But the wings are kind of nice. Like, more could be done with it, but it's still good. It's average. Now we're moving into Season 2. We got just the standard 00 Gundam. It's a good design. I'd put it above the standard O Gundam. Yeah, it's better than its actual immediate. Like, one of it, it's... The 00 is better than the O. But not its repainted version. The Cerevi is just virtue on steroids, so it immediately goes above. I had one big bazooka. Now I changed it for a big bazooka that could be 2 bazookas, and instead of just the one over-the-shoulder cannon, I got the 2 over-the-shoulders cannon and 2 knee cannons. Come at me. The Cheridim. Still a good design, but not as good as Dynamis, in my opinion. I'll put him right here. It's still a very good design, but I prefer the Dynamis to it. The Arios. Kyrios' essentially upgrade variant. It's replacement. This one I'm gonna consider, I'll put you in B. It's got the orange, yes, but now it's got these weird long extensions on its shoulders. It doesn't work for me as well as the Kyrios did. The O-Riser, you're a fighter jet. You're just a fighter jet, but with really weird wings. Go in C tier, bottom C. The 00 Riser. The jet is now slapped to the back of the 00 Gundam. It's better than... You know what? I like the 00 Riser more than the 00, more than the O Riser, and more than even Exia and the O Gundam. It just gets that little bit better. The extra bulk on the wings actually manages to make its profile more sleek than this thing. Somehow, don't ask me how. It just did. The Seraphim. Nautile's, descendant, essentially. Or a successor, I should say, actually. Is literally Seravi's backpack. But I don't think it reaches that same level. It's better than the Virtue, worse than the Seravi. The Jinx 3, both variations, the red and the bluish one. They don't remind me. I don't like them as much as I like the original Jinx, because those extra little additions sticking out, again, made me think of them like a swarm of hornets or something flying in at something. These guys ditch that, so they're just kind of... So they lose it. So they're both going to go into... I prefer the blue to the red, so they go into C. The Ahead is a design I could do without. All versions of the Ahead I can do without. They all equally suck, in my opinion. And same with the GN Drive Trilobite underwater suit. This thing can also go to hell with the other underwater suit. We don't need that. I don't need it. This doesn't need to exist. It's dumb. The Gadessa. I mean, it's okay. The same goes with the Garazo. They're like the same suit, only one's more close range and the other's long range. In fact, let's get their third one in there, the Gadess. This thing at least has a little more character to it, in my opinion. The Gadess is a little better than the Gadessa and Garazo. They share like the same basic frame, but the remote weapons and having just a straight up sword is better than giant gun and beam saber fingers. No. Arch. Basically a souped up Zwei. Yes please. Yes please. Actually, you know what? No, you get S rank. The Arch gets S rank. It's got super elongated limbs. Like, it's just so different. I like how just it's exaggerated. I got very, very long arms, very, very long legs, but the rest of my body is still the same. I still have a giant fuck-off sword, I've got beam sabers on my feet, and I still have the remote weapons, and I have an escape pod. So give it to him there. The Masaru? And its upgraded variant, Susano. These are literally the same suit, pretty much. Only one's got red highlights, the other has white highlights. Yeah, a lot are going into C tier today. A lot are going into C tier. The Empress, I can totally do without. You're another mobile armor that doesn't need to exist. The Regante, you're just a transforming version of the Empress. That can go away as well. I don't need you. I don't need two of the same thing. The Gun Archer. Honestly, I like this design. It's another transforming suit. It can hook up with the Arios. In fact, I kind of like it more than I like the Arios. I would actually put it right next by the Curie. Actually, no. Above Cerevi. I prefer the Gun Archer to even the Cerevi. It's a pretty high A. The Gaga. Ain't got no legs. No. The Reborn's Gundam. This guy, yeah, he's definitely an S. Transforming, literally like turning around. It's a whole totally different mobile suit. It makes it work. I prefer to the 00 Riser. Just lesser than these guys. We have Celestial Beings Union Flag. I'm tired of the flags, and they gave it claw feet and a big fuck off thing on the booster on the back, and no, like, just I mean, it's a low D, but this thing can go away. I'm tired of the flag. I'm tired of it. The 00 Quanta. Better than Exia, lesser than the 00 Riser. It's okay. The Zabanya. Cheridim's successor. And it's just under Dynamis in my opinion. I love how it has like 12 guns that'll float around and fire on its own while he holds 2 more. And then every compartment on his body opens up for more missiles. I like that. I like alpha strikes like that. The Harut. Arios' successor. He's just gonna go above Arios. He's a little better. He's got a unique face and kind of look in general, especially with those big backbinders that can just be disengaged too. But they also work as cannons as well, so they actually have a use. I don't know why they decided to put this here. It's just the final battle version of the Harut. They turned the legs into more thrust, so I'm sorry, you can't stand on your own. You're lesser than the original. The Raphael Gundam. You're a variant of the Gades-Garazo line here, but with a little more Gundam flair, and you have a weird hat, which is the Cerevi 2. The Cerevi now turns into the backpack. Losi. I mean, you're the Cerevi again, but now you've lost all your guns. And have weird claw feet. What the fuck is this? I have another flag apparently I missed. Is this an over... sorry, this is the over flag, I think. Or this is the flag space type. I don't... You know what? This goes here. It's another flag. It goes with the flags. I'm tired of the fucking Union flags. Like, I'm so tired of them. The Jinx 4. Definitely better than the regular Jinx, the Jinx 3s, but still not as good as the Jinx, not as good as the original Jinx. Again, those extra protrusions on its, like, waist and the back there just really give it that different profile. Yeah, it looks like a swarm of insects coming at you. The Brave and Brave Commander type. This is just the flag again. It's the flag one more time. I'm tired of these things. They're better than every other flag variant here. So they're going to go up in C tier, but they're still C tier. I am sick and tired of the flag. The Godaleza. I'll be honest, I kind of like it. It's over the top. It's a giant-ass, basically, battleship. I kind of like it. It's good. It's better than most of these guys. I can kind of debate that. Yeah, it's weird that its sides fold out and can be used as sort of hands. But the whole front end there is a cannon that opens up, and it has like a million fucking remote weapons, and remote weapons that have remote weapons inside of them. This thing is just... This is a fleet killer. The Gaga Cannon. Slapping cannons on his back isn't going to make it that much better of a design. I'm sorry. This is seen in, like, the skip ahead at the end of the movie. It's just kind of a future design of just, like, what everyone uses, I guess. No. And then the Else 00 Quanta. Did I put the regular Quanta right there? It'll stick... Yeah, I'll stick it right above the regular Quanta. Yeah. So, yeah, there we go. There's my... There's our 00 tier list. Told you this one's gonna be bigger. Like, look at all that. It didn't miss any suits from the show. Those are all suits that appeared in 00 Season 1, 2, and the movie. If you look at the side stories, there's even more. Usually more variants of the Tyrion. And the flag. And the Gundams. Gundams have a lot of variants. Even the fucking Reborns and Arch have variants for some reason. So I'm going to download all those. I'll have them posted up on Twitter and in the Discord for everyone just to kind of see. I think it's... Hey, look at that. I filled out 2 hours. I made up for it. I made up for, you know, not actually doing real... playing our Gundam game today, but, hey. I still think this was fine. This is something nice and chill and something I kind of wanted to do. For a while. I like doing tier lists. Gonna swap over. Okay. Let me bring up the schedule for the rest of the week again, real quick. So yeah, today was not actually GE Generation Genesis, but we still did something. I still enjoyed today. I hope you guys kind of enjoyed that, just hearing me ramble on about suits that you probably could care less about. But tomorrow, we are going to be doing Fruit of Grisaya. We're going to finish Machina's route. However long it takes tomorrow, I'm going to do it. We'll actually start at 10, and we'll be done when her route is done. Because I want her route done. I want to get onto Sakaki's route. I want to, you know, finish Grisaya off. I want to move on to the other ones. And also, you know, maybe play another visual novel, like, you know, that Katawa mod I was talking about? Maybe? Honestly, I just loaded up the menu, and I call it a mod, but it's its own thing. It has its own menu, you click what you want, and it just brings you into it, which is... Oh, it's such a good way to do that. That is such a good way to do that. I'm happy about that. So, yeah. Thank you, you know, everybody, for listening to me ramble on for 2 hours about what's a good mobile suit and what's not, in my opinion. Yeah, probably, again, most of you probably are like, don't care. What are you doing, funny man? You're just yammering on about nothing. Well, that didn't work. I'm gonna have to work on that 100%. So just something that came up in another thing I was in. It didn't work out exactly how I wanted it to. Shit. Work on it later. Anyway. Thanks everyone for watching, commenting, and lurking. I appreciate you very, very much. I will be back at about 10 a.m. tomorrow to finish off Machina's route in Grisaya. So, hope you all have yourselves a great rest of your day. I'll see you next time.